Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another episode of the Strafing Run. And first of all, Happy New Year to us all. Hopefully it's a good one. But this is Paragon, and it's a MOBA. SideStrafe playing a MOBA? What has this new year brought upon us? What sorcery is this? I actually like this one. I'm not really into MOBAs. I've played League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, Smite. Don't think I played Dota or any others. I'm sure there's plenty by now, but I just can't get into them. They bore me. They're too slow, and often the top-down isometric view is something I'm not interested in these days. And I know Smite was third person, but I don't know. Something about that one too. Maybe it's the aesthetics. Pacing, not sure. Couldn't get into it for very long. This one, about 24 hours so far, and that's a lot for me in a MOBA. And you can try it out yourself. It is free to play. It's currently in beta, open beta. You need to download the Epic Games launcher. I'll have a link to everything in the description below, as usual. This is made by Epic Games, as I mentioned there, with the launcher that you'll need. They make Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, Unreal Engine. They develop the engine, so that's always good to know that the guys that build the engine are making a game, so that way you can count on it running at its best. The game runs very, very well. What you're looking at here is the game on ultra settings, maxed out. Of course, YouTube never going to do it justice. It's a beautiful game, best looking MOBA on the planet, no doubt about that. Fantastic texture work. Playing the game at 2560 by 1440, I'm very impressed with how well it runs. 60 frames per second, solid. There may be an occasional dip depending on the action here. Hopefully they can tighten things up over time. Again, that is beta. Optimization usually comes a little later. But, you know, the animations with the moves, the ultimate, and the regular abilities look great. It's very satisfying to the eye. The pacing for me is a lot faster than most MOBAs. I'm not going to say it's the fastest paced game on the planet, but for a MOBA, I feel it's just a lot twitchier, and I kind of wanted that for something like this. You know, I look at a game like League of Legends, and I don't mean to offend anybody. If you like League, you like it, great. But for me, I look at it, and it kind of just looks like an old iPad game or something, you know, like a mobile game. It's just, everything's moving around so slowly. I look at this, and I feel like, in a way, I'm playing third-person Unreal Tournament or something. You know, it's just really quick and responsive. The controls are decent, and I can access my moves and tear it up, and it looks great too. I feel like one of these heroes, and that's what I want in a MOBA. You know, everything else is fairly similar. You got your 3 lanes, you got your jungle, you got your tower and minions, and a variety of heroes to choose from with moves and abilities that could use buffing. The one thing I think that's quite different is the fact that this game relies on a card and deck building system as opposed to items. If you look in the lower left-hand corner there, those are my cards that I have chosen for this character in particular, Lieutenant Bellica. Still working on learning the card system. The one con to this game right now is that there is not a tutorial for the cards or building decks. You have to leave the game and try to find one, and a lot of them are kind of out of date because they drastically overhauled the game recently. Apparently this game is right now playing a lot differently than it did when it first went into testing. Apparently it was much slower paced than what you're seeing now. And again, talking about the speed and the pacing, a lot of people still think this is kind of slow. And maybe it is, sure, if you compare it to a normal shooter, a Gears of War, an Overwatch, a Titanfall 2, or something like that. Sure, yeah, it's a lot slower than that. If you want something that fast, then I guess playing those games is an alternative. Overwatch, in a way, has some similarities to a MOBA game. So there is that option. But, you know, anyways, with this, yeah, the card system, the deck building, frustrating for me at first, but special thanks goes out to a lot of my live stream viewers that have been patient with me, trying to show me the ropes and teach me the ways of deck building and things like that. You know, as the game starts out, it will auto choose cards for you out of a basic beginner deck. and you can leave it that way if you want. But if you really want to get into it, if you want to start learning the meta and competing at the higher elos, you probably got to figure out these cards. You got to learn how to build the decks and when to upgrade a specific card, and when, you know, maybe when to switch one out for another. As I was kind of, you know, playing around with there. Again, if you're an expert with this game and you're witnessing this playthrough here, bear with me. I don't 100% know what I'm doing, still learning everything, but I'm having fun in the process, and that is, of course, what is important to any video game, is just you're having fun. You know, I'm not here to become an MLG pro. I'm not competing in tournaments where money's on the line. I just want to have fun with a video game. So I try not to take these things too seriously, especially the older I get. I'm just looking for personal victories. Although, yes, you will still run into the same frustrations that you can find in any MOBA. You know, one bad player on your team can end it for you. You'll get somebody that, you know, doesn't know how to play a character, and they're constantly feeding the enemy team. It gets frustrating, but at the end of the match, as long as you're performing, you still get rewarded for your performance, and the game does a good job of that, at least so far, from what I can tell. Matches, I would say, in terms of length, I mean, you could have a 30-minute match, upwards of 60 minutes. They can be pretty long. MOBA matches can be, but apparently before the Monolith update, you'd end up with hour 30, 2-hour long matches. So it's apparently a lot better than it was before. And this is a newer map as well that I think is more condensed and action-packed. But, you know, I am hoping that in the future we do get to see some variance in map design, or at least in terms of aesthetic changes for the maps, because, you know, most MOBAs have one map, primarily due to balancing issues. With a MOBA, the key is to have balanced lanes, and I think most developers avoid making other maps because they think that they're going to have to go against that. For me, it's not about changing the lanes or anything. For me, it's about just changing the looks. So, for example, since this is a mixture of science fiction and fantasy, with the characters available to you, wouldn't it be cool to have a MOBA layout map, but maybe in a sci-fi city? Imagine Blade Runner. You know, you got flying cars up above and just kind of dark, foggy, steamy streets, and maybe the jungle is kind of like back alleys that you can duck into, similar to how you can here. You know, why not just have different looking maps, but with the same layouts, just to keep things fresh, right? Because you play the same thing over and over again, the visuals get stale after a while, and that's no fun, you know? So, you know, I'm not saying it's a priority. Get the gameplay down, get your heroes in, refine everything, the combat, the moves, the cards, add in a better new player experience, teach people about the decks and whatnot. Everything that they need to succeed as a hero within Paragon. Get that in first. But it would be nice to maybe get a new map a year or something, or every 6 months, just to have a fresh take on the MOBA genre in general. I think Smite actually has different maps or looks to their maps, which is, again, always a good thing for me. But yeah, loving it so far, and there's still plenty of heroes to try out. I'm kind of just taking my time with it because each one is fairly unique, and you got to be careful about getting into some of the more advanced heroes. I find a lot of people picking heroes that they just can't handle, and then they end up dying like 17 times a match, and that's usually the end of it for your team. So yeah, expect the typical MOBA frustrations going into this, but know that it is a lot twitchier and faster paced, so that in itself might be the source of your enjoyment. But yeah, enjoying this one. For how long? I don't know. I get tired of games like a lot of people do, and I move on to the next thing. But, you know, as far as SideStrafe playing a MOBA, it's going to be this one unless there's something better than this. Again, I think the art style does bring me into it. I think the aesthetic has me. It feels like a grown-up MOBA in a way. Again, not meaning to offend anybody that likes any other ones, but it's just the style here is quite important. You know, there's a lot of games that I won't play just because of the aesthetics. Warframe is a game that I know to be good. It's just that I can't get into like the shark ninja suits, and for me it's just a turn off to the point where I won't play the game. I know it sucks being like that sometimes, being that picky, being that shallow about aesthetics, but I guess it's just about immersion, and you know, that is part of the gameplay for me. And you know, if I'm in this game, I want to, you know, take on the role of a particular character and be one with that character. And so Paragon does it as far as a MOBA is concerned. I like it. Anyways, what else is going on? Lots to talk about. There is a game out there called Escape from Tarkov. I would label it as a hardcore tactical shooter with loot mechanics. Don't compare it to DayZ. There's no zombies or mutants or anything like that, and it's not as open world as I think we were led to believe. It seems to be more level-based, but with an emphasis on tactical gameplay, hardcore weapon handling. Weapons can jam. There's various types of ammunition. Some weapons are so long that they can't really be used in certain close quarter environments because the weapon will move upward when you get too close to a wall or an object. There's just a lot that goes into modifying weapons or finding parts of weapons and building your own, so you can find a lower receiver or a trigger assembly and a stock and put that together and make a full-on AK or something if you've been able to find all the parts necessary. There's durability, there's the need to repair and maintain the weapons and things of that nature as well. So there's a lot that's going into that. Again, I think a lot of people are expecting a better DayZ, but you'll be disappointed to find out that it's not. Again, it's more so a free-for-all or team deathmatch scenario with loot. You can lose your loadout if you bring you know, your brand new M4 and body armor into a game and you get eliminated. Well, whoever killed you can loot that and you've lost it. And so you're going to have to maintain a stash filled with backup weapons or only bring in what you think you need so as to not lose certain components. So it's pretty intense. It's called Escape from Tarkov because you're trying to, well, escape Tarkov. You're trying to escape the levels or zones presented to you and make it out alive with your loot. And hopefully your friends can help you out with that. Now, the game is currently in an early alpha state. You can purchase your way in through one of the larger packages, which I did. I paid for it with my own money. The idea was to be able to show you guys the game and talk about it so as to prevent purchasing something that's crap. The thing is, with this NDA in effect, I can't share footage of the title. But they've lifted the NDA for certain channels. And normally you'd think that if they've lifted the NDA, there would at least be some sort of restriction. Like, okay, you can show this, but please don't show this. It's not done yet, or it's really glitchy. We don't want people to get the wrong idea. The thing is, that doesn't seem to be the case, because if you watch one of these live streams or if you look at a YouTube video that has Escape from Tarkov in it, everything is being shown, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The worst of the worst glitches and problems with the game are being shared openly by these people that have had their NDA lifted. What's the point of the NDA? Why is there a restriction for everybody else? I don't know. But if you're waiting for my opinion, my full, detailed, in-depth opinion of this game and what it could potentially end up being, you're going to have to wait. I've tried to contact Battlestate Games via email, no reply. Forums, 2 devs within the forums, no reply. I don't even know why they have an email address. But if somebody out there knows how to get a hold of these guys and knows the right person to talk to, please let me know in the comments or via one of my inboxes, and I'll appreciate it. Because, you know, again, for me, it's not about being the first to the table with the content. It's about making sure your money goes to the right developer. I like to once in a while make the sacrifice so that you don't have to. And usually I only do it with games that I feel have some sort of potential. This is a game that I think my community would like, and I think it's high time we got a tactical shooter that's not mega clunky, and this might be one of them. So stay tuned for more on Escape from Tarkov. But right now, it's time for a transition, because we're all soldiers now. Or tracers. Anyway, it's Overwatch. I haven't played this in a while. I've been in the mood, feeling the itch. Streamed it last night, had some fun with it. Might do a little bit more streaming for it in time. We'll see, depends. Anyways, how about some controversy? Apparently, Tracer is gay, and a lot of people are up in arms about this. I know, guys, I know you wanted to wife Tracer. You're going to take her to your favorite burger joint, share a banana split, and tell her your feelings. Do people eat banana splits anymore? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they should. Maybe that's what's wrong with society. Let's not disclose the sexual orientation of our Overwatch characters. Let's discuss the reasoning behind the decline in banana splits. Was anything I just said relevant to making this game any better? Nah. Is Tracer being gay going to make this game any better or worse? Nah. Is it necessary? Nah. How many times can I say nah in one video? Find out on the next episode of the Strafing Run. My point is, on one hand, it's funny that people are bothered by it. You shouldn't be bothered by it. It doesn't affect you. But on the flip side, it's funny that Blizzard feels that it's necessary, just like a lot of movie studios feel that it's necessary. Apparently, Sulu from Star Trek is now also gay. They say it's to pay homage to George Takei, who's gay, who played the original Sulu on Star Trek. But he said that Sulu wasn't a gay character back then, so why is he now? You see what I'm getting at, though? These devs and studios, they're trying to be seen as white knights within these communities. In this case, what is it? The LBJ, BLT something? No, that's bacon, lettuce, and tomato. I could go for one of those right now. And a banana split. You see, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that really matters. Food. And what would have been offensive is if Blizzard had said, we're sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Soldier 76 no longer likes bacon. Uninstall. That'd be the end of it. I would never play Soldier again. I identify as bacon, and it would be offensive to me as bacon if they would not include bacon or bacon derivatives within my video game. We're all bacon now. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you get my point. It's just all about intentions. I hope Blizzard has good intentions. I hope they're not sitting there and thinking about doing this for the sake of money. I hope that they just think that it's the right thing for whatever reason they can come up with, and that they're not just obsessed with being perceived as white knights or fighters for a cause. Here's hoping it goes beyond marketing. Anyways, moving right along. I think the last thing I want to talk about is good old Gaijin Entertainment. You guys remember Gaijin? They make that game War Thunder that I absolutely despise for various reasons that I won't get into right now because otherwise this video will be a year long. So I don't play that game anymore. I haven't played it in a very long time. In fact, it's been uninstalled from this computer for maybe a year. I don't know. I recently got an email saying that somebody had changed my password. Wasn't me. Who was it? Well, somebody hacked my account, changed my password, applied a Gaijin authenticator to it, contacted support, proved my identity. They removed the authenticator. I changed the password. And, well, I got another email saying that somebody changed my password again and again and again and again. Contact Gaijin. And at that point, they say they can't do anything about it. I'm responsible for the security of my email address and its password. And so there's nothing they can do. A little bit more time passes. I realize that somebody's changed my name. They changed my nickname from SideStrafe to Vlad with a bunch of numbers after it. So, if you see somebody playing War Thunder with the nickname SideStrafe, it is not me. It is some sort of hacker or potentially Gaijin employee that's broken the law. Gaijin refuses to get my name back or fix the problem. This is Gaijin Entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. This is who they are. A bunch of criminals that deserve to be locked up. It could have even been them. I've been told by some people that it might have even been an inside job because whoever had access to this information was doing it beyond a simple email address and password. Hardware authentication? Doesn't matter. Password changing? Doesn't matter. You want to change your email address? You can't. They won't let you. You're responsible for your email. Let me change it. Since there's some sort of breach, you want to blame me? Let me change my email. Nope. Okay. I've worked customer service jobs in the past. Let me tell you, if we were guilty of this, if we provided such service, quote unquote, we'd be under the gun. We'd be under criminal investigation. We'd be in some hot water. You're not secure if you have a Gaijin account, guys. Sorry. Doesn't matter. You can put the Gaijin authenticator on. You can change your passwords. It just doesn't matter. Somebody's got access. So I guess just don't piss Gaijin off if it's them, or I don't know. Don't be a target of a hacker, I guess. It's just the only thing to hope for. There's no security. In general, in life, there's not a lot of security out there. If somebody wants into something of yours, they're going to get it. Which is why it's probably best to just avoid the internet in general. But in this case, it's more so about the fact that they refuse to do anything about it. So that's that. I just wanted to let everybody know. Be careful about your accounts. And again, if you see a SideStrafe playing that game, it's not me. It's potentially some sort of hacker or something. And that's that. So I think we're done here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here as always. Much appreciated. And with that said, I'll see you on the next one.